The year is 3172. Earth is gone. Long ago, the sky burned red. Nuclear fire, alien bombs, and human greed destroyed everything. Oceans boiled. Cities vanished. Billions died. Now, Earth is just a dead rock in space. But not everyone died. Deep under the ground, in an old secret bunker, a child was born. His name was Cain Ward. He never saw the sun, never felt the wind, but he grew strong, stronger than anyone thought possible. He was trained by machines, taught by war AI, fed by auto farms. His only friends were pain and silence. Every day, he heard the same message. Earth doesn't nurture victims. It trains killers. Those words were burned into his mind. Cain is now 27 years old. He moves through space like a shadow. Cold, fast, deadly. He doesn't wear armor. He doesn't carry many weapons. But people fear him because he doesn't miss. And he doesn't stop. Right now, Cain is hiding on a dark asteroid station called Red Dust 1. The station is old, broken, and full of aliens who hate humans. He walks through the shadows, quiet and calm. His face is hard. His eyes are sharp. Suddenly, a voice comes through his old comm piece. Cain, you've been found. The bounty's real. 10 million credits. Every hunter in the sector is coming. Cain doesn't panic. He just whispers, "Let them come." An alien bounty hunter steps out of the smoke. His skin is blue, his arms like iron. A laser whip crackles in his hand. Human. The alien laughs. You're worth more dead than alive. Cain says nothing. He moves fast. In 3 seconds, the alien is on the ground. Neck broken. Eyes wide. Cain didn't even draw a weapon. The others in the station back away. They don't want to die. They know this human is not weak. He is something else. He is Earthborn. Later, in a dark room, Cain looks at a small metal box. It's old, maybe 200 years old. Inside is a chip. He puts it into his device. A message appears. Project Genesis is alive. Earth's power is not lost. Come to the Orion Rift. You are not alone. But be warned, others want it too. Cain stares at the screen. His heart beats faster. For the first time in years, he feels something. Hope. He thought Earth's secrets were all destroyed. He thought he was the last one. But now, maybe not. He remembers the stories told by the bunker AI about Earth's final plan. A hidden project. A way to fight back. A way to rebuild. If Project Genesis is real, Cain says, I have to find it. Before they do. Far away, in a shining alien city, a tall creature watches a screen. He is part of the Zenith Order, rulers of the galaxy. His name is High Seer Varric. He watches a video of Cain killing the bounty hunter. This one is dangerous, Varric says. He moves like a ghost, kills like a god. A soldier asks, should we send a fleet? No, Varric says. Send the Purger. The room goes silent. The Purger is not a man. Not anymore. He is half machine, half beast, built to destroy. He once served Earth, long ago. But he turned. Now he serves the Zenith Order. His mission, erase the past. He watches Cain's image on a screen. Earth trained you too, he says softly. Then let's see who learned better. Back at Red Dust 1, Cain steals a ship. It's old and damaged, but fast. He sets course for the Orion Rift, a wild, dangerous part of space. As the ship jumps into warp, Cain closes his eyes. He sees flashes of the bunker, the training, the pain, the cold metal floor where he slept as a child. He remembers the AI voice that raised him. You are not made for peace. You are made to survive. He is not a hero. He is not a soldier. He is the last product of Earth's final fury. And now, the galaxy will remember what Earth made. Cain Ward's ship jumped out of warp near a dusty red planet. The world below was dry, cracked, and forgotten. Its name was Draven 4. Once, Draven 4 was a mining colony. Now it was a prison without bars. The aliens let humans live there, but just barely. The food was rotten, the water poisoned. No laws, no safety, only fear. Cain landed his stolen ship outside the main colony gates. He stepped out, wearing a black coat and carrying a small bag. No armor, no fear. As he walked into the colony, people stared. Dirty faces, tired eyes. Some looked at him with hope, others with hate. A few just looked away, too broken to care. A young boy whispered to his mother, "Is he a soldier?" The mother shook her head. "No, Earth has no soldiers left." But she was wrong. Cain entered a dark bar built from broken metal. Inside, loud alien music played. A few drunk miners sat at tables. One alien barkeeper cleaned a glass with greasy hands. Cain sat down. "I need fighters," he said. "Strong ones." The bartender laughed. "Fighters. Here, you'll find more ghosts than warriors." Cain dropped a small box on the table. Inside, an old Earth military patch. Faded, burned, but still powerful. The bartender stopped laughing. "Earthborn," he whispered. "I thought you were all dead." "Most are," Cain said. "But I'm not." Within hours, rumors spread. A killer from Earth was here. A man who fought Zenith soldiers with his bare hands. A human not afraid to fight back. Some came to see him. A young thief named Lena, quick with knives and quicker with her mouth. A quiet ex-soldier named Joro, who once fought in the human Alari wars. A blind man called Snaps, who used sound to see and never missed a shot. And a girl named Tessa, who could fix any machine, even if it was broken to hell. Cain looked at them and said, "This place is dying. You can rot with it, or you can stand up and fight." Lena crossed her arms. "Fight with what?" "Rocks and sticks." Cain tossed a training chip on the table. "Fight with Earth. I'll teach you." Training began the next morning. Cain showed them how to move, how to strike, how to kill. He trained them hard. No mercy, no breaks. If they fell, he told them to stand. If they failed, he made them try again, again, and again. He said, "Earth didn't raise me with hugs. It raised me with pain. That pain made me strong. If you want to survive, you must earn it." Lena complained. Joro stayed silent. Snaps just smiled. Tessa cried once, but she stayed. By the end of the week, they could fight. Not like soldiers, but like survivors. That was enough. For now. But danger was coming. Far above Draven 4, a sleek black ship appeared in orbit. It made no sound, no signal, no warning. Inside that ship stood the hunter, the purger. He watched the surface below. He had found Cain. He could feel it. "Earthborn," he said coldly, "your fire ends here." He activated his weapons. Razor claws, plasma arms, gravity boots. His mission, eliminate Cain Ward. He dropped to the planet like a shadow. That night, Cain sat with his team around a small fire. He looked at each of them. "You've trained. You've learned. But the real test is coming. Someone is hunting me. And he's not like the rest." "Who is he?" Joro asked. Cain stared into the fire. "A monster Earth created. Like me. But twisted." They heard something then. A sound like thunder. But there was no sky storm. Just footsteps. Big. Heavy. Getting closer. Snaps stood up. "He's here." Cain rose. "Get ready." Then, out of the shadows, the purger appeared. 10 feet tall. Eyes glowing red. His body part metal, part muscle. His voice was deep, inhuman. "Hello, brother," he said, still playing hero. Cain stepped forward, still licking alien boots. The purger laughed. You were always soft, still dreaming of saving Earth. It's dead. Cain clenched his fists. Then why are you afraid of it rising again? The night on Draven 4 was silent. Too silent. Cain Ward stood between his team and the monster called the Purger. Wind blew across the dead colony, but no one moved. Everyone felt the fear in the air. The Purger took one step forward. The ground cracked under his metal boots. "You trained them?" he asked, looking at the team behind Cain. "They are weak, like the rest of your kind." Cain didn't answer. He was watching, waiting for the perfect moment. He knew the Purger. He remembered him. A killer built from Earth's rage, a failed product of the old training. The Purger raised one glowing arm. A plasma cannon formed at the wrist. "Let me show you what real strength looks like." He fired. Cain jumped, tackled his team out of the way. The blast hit the old wall behind them. It exploded into dust and fire. "Split up," Cain shouted. His team scattered. Lena rolled behind a cargo crate. Joro grabbed a pipe. Tessa ran for the rooftops. Snaps found cover behind a metal beam and closed his eyes, listening. Cain rushed forward, fists clenched. The two Earthborn met in a brutal clash. Cain struck the Purger's face. Metal skin, no damage. The Purger grabbed Cain and threw him into a wall. Dust fell. Bones cracked. But Cain stood up again. He charged, this time faster. He slid under the Purger's legs, grabbed a power cable, and shocked the machines back. Sparks flew. The Purger roared and spun around. "You can't win," he growled. "I was made for war." "So was I," Cain said, blood on his lip. Meanwhile, the team tried to help. Tessa hacked into the colony power lines. "If I can overload the grid," she said, "I can stun him." Joro nodded. "Do it. I'll buy you time." He ran out with a stolen energy rifle. He fired at the Purger, who turned and raised a shield. Joro shouted, "Over here, metal freak." The Purger fired back. The shot missed, but barely. Lena appeared behind him, knives in hand. She climbed a stack of crates, then jumped onto his back. She stabbed at a weak point in his armor. Sparks flew again. But the Purger reached over his shoulder, grabbed Lena, and slammed her into the ground. She screamed. Her arm twisted, broken. Cain rushed to her side, grabbed her, and rolled behind cover. "You okay?" "I've had worse," she said, but her face was pale. Snaps listened from the shadows. He heard every move, every breath, every step the Purger made. He took a deep breath, aimed his sniper pistol, and fired. The shot hit the Purger's left eye. The machine screamed. Sparks and black oil sprayed. "You'll pay for that," the Purger growled. Tessa finished her work. "Now," she shouted. The colony lights went out. Then came a huge electric surge. Power jumped from the ground. The Purger screamed as lightning danced across his body. He fell to one knee, smoking, shaking. Cain saw his chance. He ran full speed, leaped into the air, and smashed both fists into the Purger's chest. The ground shook. Metal cracked. But it wasn't enough. The Purger stood up, damaged but alive. "You think pain scares me," he said. "Earth made me from pain." He grabbed Cain by the throat, lifted him high. "I'm not your enemy," he whispered. "I'm your future." Cain kicked him in the head. The grip loosened. Cain fell, coughing, and rolled away. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang. More Zenith drones were coming. Hundreds, flying in fast. Cain looked at his team. Hurt, tired, scared. "We can't win this," Tessa said. "Not tonight." Cain nodded. "Fall back. I'll hold him off." "No," Lena shouted. "You'll die." "I'm Earthborn," Cain said. "I don't die easy." He ran toward the Purger one last time. But this time, he didn't fight to kill. He fought to distract. The team ran to the escape tunnel Tessa had opened earlier. Kane punched, dodged, blocked. Every move bought them time. At the last moment, just before the drones landed, Kane jumped back and threw a flash bomb. The purger roared as light blinded his sensors. Kane disappeared into the smoke. The team escaped. Hours later, in an old cave system below the colony, they sat in silence. Lena's arm was wrapped. Joro had a burn on his leg. Snaps cleaned his rifle. Tessa stared at the broken tools in her hands. Kane sat alone, thinking. He was trained like me, Kane whispered. Same earth, same pain, but something broke him. Joro said, "What now?" Kane looked up, eyes full of fire. We fight harder, train harder, because he's not the last one. Others like him are out there. And if we want to survive, we have to become more than soldiers. He stood. We have to become legends. The sun never rises on Draven 4. Only red clouds and cold winds move through its dead sky. Kane Ward stood at the edge of the canyon. Below him was darkness, an old earth bunker buried deep in the rock. Tessa had found it in an old map stored on her hacked Zenith device. The symbol on the bunker was clear. Earth Military Command, level red. This place, Kane said, was hidden even from Earth's own people. Why? Lena asked, still holding her broken arm. Because what's inside was never meant to be found. The team climbed down with ropes and old tech. The entrance was sealed, but Kane placed his palm on the scanner. The machine clicked, then opened. The door hadn't moved in over 150 years. Inside, the air was cold and dry. Lights flickered on, one by one. The walls were metal, rusted but strong. A strange voice filled the halls. Welcome back, Kane Ward. Final Earthborn. Access granted. Tessa froze. It knows you. I was born from this system, Kane said. Trained by its machines. I am its last command. They moved deeper inside. Strange machines lined the halls. Broken war robots. Genetic tanks. Cryopods filled with dust and bones. But one pod was still full. Still working. Kane wiped the glass. Inside was a girl. Maybe 19. Pale skin. Short hair. Scars on her arms. Still sleeping. Still alive. Her name glowed on the glass. Earthborn Unit 12. Nera Voss. Another one? Joro asked. Kane nodded slowly. She's like me. He touched the screen. The machine hissed. The pod opened. Steam filled the room. The girl gasped, opened her eyes, and looked around fast, like a soldier waking from battle. Then her eyes landed on Kane. You're one of us, she said, voice sharp. Why did you wake me? Kane replied, because Earth is gone, and we're all that's left. Later, they sat around a table in the bunker. Nera moved like a weapon. Every step was fast, quiet, sharp. Her eyes never stopped scanning. Even while she spoke, she was calculating. I was put to sleep during the final days, she explained. My mission was clear. Wait until Earth sent a signal. It never came. It never would, Kane said. Earth was destroyed. Bombs, fire, silence. She nodded. No tears. No emotion. Then our mission changes, she said. We bring Earth back. Joro laughed once. You want to rebuild Earth. With what? With pain, Nera said. With blood. That's what Earth left us. Suddenly, the bunker alarm screamed. Incoming Signal. Unknown EARTHBURNUNITE. Warning. Hostile. Kane rushed to the monitor. A figure was walking toward the canyon from the dark side of the planet. Not Zenith. Not Purger. Another one. Another Earthborn. This can't be, Kane whispered. There were only a few of us. Some survived, Nera said coldly. Not all followed orders. Outside, the stranger walked alone. He wore old Earth armor, scratched and burned. His eyes were cold and empty. On his shoulder, he carried a weapon too large for normal soldiers. It was called a grave launcher. The man's name was Roke. He was Unit 09. Kane remembered him from the old records. Roke disobeyed, Kane said. He killed his trainers, vanished into space. He was a ghost. Now he's back, Lena said. What does he want? Kane stared at the screen. He wants what's in this bunker. Project Genesis. They set up traps, charged weapons. Nara led the defense like a machine. Tessa fixed the old guns in the wall. Snaps found high ground. Joro loaded explosives. Lena sharpened her blades, one hand still hurt. Kane stood in the main hall, waiting. Then Roke arrived. He didn't knock. He blasted the door open with one shot. The team fired from all sides. Bullets, lasers, bombs. Roke kept walking. "Is that all you have?" he shouted. He threw a grenade. Snaps barely dodged it. The wall exploded. Kane ran at Roke, fists ready. They clashed. Roke fought like a monster, stronger than Kane, faster than Joro, smarter than Nara. "Earth made us killers," he said, "but I became more. I became death." Kane blocked a punch, dodged a kick, and grabbed Roke's armor. Then die like one. But Roke threw him off and aimed the grave launcher. Suddenly, a shot hit Roke's arm. Nara had used an earth railgun from the old wall. Roke screamed. His weapon dropped. Kane rushed in, punched him hard. Roke fell back, breathing heavy. "You're still weak, Kane," he said, "still dreaming of saving ghosts." "No," Kane whispered. "I'm making something new." Kane raised his knife. Roke smiled. "Then I'll be waiting in hell." Kane struck. Silence. Later, the team stood over Roke's body. Nara said nothing. She just turned and walked away. Kane looked at his hands. So much blood. So many memories. Lena stepped beside him. "How many more are out there?" Kane didn't answer. He just looked up at the bunker walls. Then the screen behind them blinked. "Pro-GC-GENESIS. Ready FOR-UNLOCK." Tessa whispered, "We found it." Kane stared. Behind this door was Earth's last secret. "We open it," he said, "and we change everything." The air in the bunker felt heavy, cold. Kane stood in front of the locked door. Project Genesis. He had been waiting for this moment for years. Ever since the last of Earth's cities burned, ever since the zenith came. Tessa stood beside him, her fingers tapping nervously on the control panel. "We don't know what's behind this door," she said. "We might not be ready for it." Kane looked at her, his face hard. "We don't have a choice. We came this far." Nara stood behind them, silent as always, her sharp eyes watching every movement. Joro checked his rifle. Lena sharpened her knives, and Snaps listened carefully to the quiet hum of the bunker. "It's ready," Tessa said, her voice a little shaky as she typed in the final sequence. "Here it goes." The door opened slowly with a grinding sound. Inside was a room unlike any other. Metal walls lined with strange glowing symbols. And in the center, a large metallic chamber. Suspended in the middle, like a twisted tree of life, were countless data cables, tanks of glowing liquid, and what looked like bodies. But these were no ordinary bodies. These were humans, frozen in time. Hundreds of them. "Earthborn units," Kane whispered. He knew at the moment he saw the pods. The last soldiers Earth made. Tessa walked forward, examining the tanks closely. They were frozen. In stasis. But for what reason? Kane didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on one pod in particular. It was bigger, more advanced than the others. Inside was a woman, lying still. Her skin was pale, her hair long, but her face, it was his. "Unit 01, Terra Ward," Tessa read aloud. "Kane, this is your sister." Kane's breath caught in his throat. His sister, he had heard rumors. She had disappeared during the war. His family had been lost in the chaos. But now, seeing her here, in the cold depths of a forgotten bunker, it was like a dream. She was alive. She had to be. But before he could speak, a low, grinding noise echoed through the room. The lights flickered. The entire facility began to shake. Tessa backed away from the control panel. "What's happening?" "Something's wrong," Kane said. His eyes locked on Tara's pod. "It's starting." Suddenly, the room flooded with alarms. Red lights blinked. A voice boomed from hidden speakers, cold and robotic. "Project Genesis activation detected. Protocols in progress. Commencing Earth rebirth." Kane's heart raced. No, this wasn't part of the plan. Then, the ground shook even harder. The pods began to open, one by one. The humans inside stirred, their eyes opening slowly, their faces confused. They were waking. Earthborn units. Hundreds of them. "Get ready," Kane shouted. "We need to stop this. We can't let them activate Project Genesis." But it was already too late. One of the newly awakened soldiers, Unit 14, stepped forward, a man in his prime. He looked at Kane, his eyes cold and distant, like a machine. "I am Unit 14. Riley Hayes," the soldier said. "We are the last line of defense for Earth. You are not authorized to stop the rebirth." The other units began to move, forming ranks, surrounding Kane and his team. Kane stepped forward, his fists clenched. "You were trained to fight for Earth, but Earth is gone. We're all that's left." Riley raised his weapon. "No, we are Earth. You are a failure." The ground trembled again, and suddenly, large doors on the far side of the room opened. A new figure entered, one far larger than any of the others. The Overseer. It was a massive machine, half robot, half human, standing at over 10 feet tall. Its body was covered in metal plating, and its eyes glowed a menacing red. It was built for war, built to command. "Project Genesis has been completed. Earth will be reborn. You cannot stop it." Kane looked at the Overseer, his hands shaking. "You're not Earth. You're just a machine." The Overseer laughed, a cold, mechanical sound. "I was designed to be the perfect human, but I was also designed to ensure Earth's rebirth, no matter the cost." Kane knew this was it. This was the end of their journey, but also the beginning of something much larger. They had come too far to back down now. "We fight," Kane said, his voice strong. Nara immediately moved into position, her eyes calculating, planning. Lena ran for cover, knives ready. Snaps aimed his sniper rifle at the Overseer's weak points. Joro placed explosives at the exit, just in case. Tessa stayed close to Kane, ready to hack anything that needed it. The battle began. Kane charged at Unit 14, fists flying. They clashed in a flurry of punches and kicks, metal on flesh. Riley was fast, but Kane was faster. With a sharp punch, he sent Riley crashing into a wall. Nara moved like a shadow, darting from one pod to another, taking down the soldiers one by one. Her knife was quick and precise, cutting through the soldiers' armor like paper. Meanwhile, the Overseer moved with terrifying speed, launching blasts of energy from its massive arms. Every strike felt like a thunderclap. Tessa hacked into its system, trying to weaken its defenses, but it was too strong. The battle seemed endless, but Kane's team was relentless. They fought for Earth, for survival. Kane managed to get close to the Overseer, jumping over a blast of energy and landing on its back. He pulled out a plasma blade and slashed at the Overseer's exposed wiring. Sparks flew. The Overseer roared in anger, but Kane kept pressing forward. He wasn't going to stop until Earth's legacy was destroyed, once and for all. Finally, with one last, desperate push, Kane shoved the blade deep into the Overseer's core. It exploded in a blinding flash of light. The room fell silent. All the Earthborn units had been destroyed. The machine's body lay in ruins. Kane stood alone, his chest rising and falling with every breath. "We did it," Lena said, her voice weak. "We did," Kane said quietly. He looked around at the wreckage of the facility. "But Earth, it's gone. We are the last of it." Tessa walked up beside him. "What now?" "We rebuild," Kane said. "But this time, we do it our way." The sun never rises on Draven 4. The red clouds still hung in the sky, casting everything in a dark, eerie light. But for the first time in years, Kane Ward felt something different. Hope. The battle was over. The Overseer was destroyed. The Earthborn units had been stopped. The war against the machines was over. But that didn't mean the fight was finished. Kane stood alone in the ruins of the bunker. His hands were covered in blood, his body sore and bruised. His team, his family, moved behind him, gathering what they could. Weapons, supplies, anything useful. They had to leave. The bunker was no longer safe. Tessa stepped up beside him, her eyes tired but determined. "We've won, but we've lost so much." Kane didn't look at her. "We haven't lost. We've just started." The door to the bunker slid shut behind them as they walked into the dark canyon. Draven 4 was quiet now. No more machines, no more soldiers hunting them down. But the silence was heavy. It felt like a warning. "We can't stay here," Joro said, looking over the barren land. "We need to find somewhere new, somewhere safe." Kane nodded. "I know, but where? There's nothing left out here." "We make something new," Nara said, her voice calm and steady as always. "Earth is gone, but we're not." Lena moved ahead, looking out toward the horizon. "We could rebuild somewhere. Start over. We're Earthborn. We know how to survive." Kane turned and looked at the others. They had all been through so much. The war, the betrayal, the endless battles. But now, they had a chance to begin again, to create something better. "You're right," Kane said, his voice steady. "We can't bring Earth back, but we can make something better. A new world, a world of our own." As they walked across the barren planet, Kane thought about everything they had been through. The Earth they had known was gone. The cities, the people, the way of life, all of it was lost in the fires of war. But what remained was something stronger, something unbroken. It was humanity. It was Earthborn. And they weren't just survivors. They were the future. Weeks passed. The team traveled across Draven 4, exploring, searching for a new place to call home. They found small signs of life, plants that had started to grow in the cracks of the old cities, animals that had adapted to the harsh environment. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Finally, they came across an abandoned facility, old but sturdy. It had water. It had power. It wasn't much, but it was enough to survive. "This is it," Kane said, standing in the center of the old building. "This is where we start." The team began to settle in. Tessa set up the equipment to restore the power. Joro started building defenses around the facility. Nara and Lena scouted for resources. Snaps kept watch from high ground, always alert. And Kane sat by himself, staring out into the distance, thinking about the future. One evening, as the stars filled the sky, Kane stood outside, looking at the endless night. He could hear the quiet sounds of his team working behind him. It was peaceful, but there was something more. A feeling deep inside him, something that made him believe, for the first time in years, that maybe, just maybe, they could make this work. They could build a new world, a new Earth. The old world was gone. The machines were dead, but the Earthborn, the ones who had survived the chaos, the ones who had fought to the end, were still here. Nara walked up beside him. "It's going to be hard," she said quietly. Kane looked at her and nodded. "I know. But we can do it," she said. "We're Earthborn. We're stronger than any machine." Cain smiled. Yeah, we are. The future was uncertain. There were still dangers out there, still things to fight, but they had each other. And that was enough. Cain turned back toward the others, his mind set. It's time to rebuild, he said. It's time for a new dawn. The team gathered around the fire that night. The stars above seemed brighter than before. Maybe it was just the dust from the battle settling. Maybe it was just hope in their hearts. But to Cain, it felt like the first real sunrise in a long time. The Earthborn had won. And now, they would build a new world.